podcast, tube friends. As you can see, we are somewhere new. We are in my study today. I thought we would try something a little different. This is a bit of a test video, so basically just to give you an insight. At the moment, it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy because my monitor is actually over there, which means you'll keep seeing me looking over there because I can't see what you're seeing. And then obviously I've got this little camera setup going on over here. The plan is eventually to see whether I can do a Stitch With Me live video and that the setup will work. Basically to make it a bit more interactive. You know how much I struggle with the whole stitching and talking to myself, because that is actually what I'm doing right now, is talking to myself. And I think if I had something that was a bit more interactive where I could, you know, I could see comments from people that are actually live that are talking to me, it would make it so that it's more interactive and a little easier for the whole what do I talk about. So without further ado, let's flick on over to my stitching. This is what we are stitching today. Oh, there we are. So it is the Heaven and Earth Design Peacock's Lagoon. And this is where I'm currently at. So we've managed to get a fair amount done since we last was working on this one. But then I have been at home a lot. So that's likely to have happened, isn't it? She says. Right, let me see where I'm at here, because I've got myself in a bit of a pickle with this one at the moment, because I've been trying to get this video done and sorted for like 2 days. This has took 2 days to actually get this video recorded because of one reason or another. It's like my whole life, you'd think with all the time on my hands that I've got currently, that it would be simple and easy enough to just sit and do some stitching and record it and chat with you. No, it's never that simple. So what to tell you? Well, should we start from the beginning? Should we start from yesterday? So the plan was yesterday, because I am a planner. I do love a good plan myself. My plan yesterday was that I would get a serious stitch on. That was part of plan one. I've just realised that I've got some issues going on here. I don't think I've got everything in the right place. Where are we? No, that's all right. So the plan was to be planned and be organised. Hubby was supposed to be out and about, and my new webcam for this setup was arriving yesterday at some point in the afternoon. So I thought, well, that gives me all morning to sit and play with the software stuff, as you do, so that I knew what I was doing when it actually turned up, and then I could just sit and record and chat with you all. That was the plan. So first of all, hubby turns up back from work at almost the same time that the new webcam turned up. So I was like, oh really? So I sort of such a horrible wife. So I turned around and I said, you are going out racing again, aren't you? You are going back out. And he was like, well, I wasn't going to. He said, but I'm assuming you want me to. So I was like, well, yes, please. So he was like, all right then. He said, I can go over the track. I can do some racing. So I said, all right then, you go and do that. And I said, no, I can do my video. So I was thinking, right, okay. So then he's gone. So he's gone away again. So I was thinking, right, now I'll sit down and I will sort out my recording. So there I am, sitting there trying to get it all set up, as you do. And all of a sudden the door, like, he hadn't even been gone 10 minutes. So it, you know, it was like almost instantly as soon as he left. So the doorbell goes. So I'm like, oh. So I was thinking, oh, it must be the postman. When I've opened the door, it's my mother-in-law. Love her. And I do love her. She is lovely. But she does have this habit of just turning up. You know, in today's day and age, you would think that there is absolutely no reason why anyone should turn up unannounced, if you know what I mean. So I did actually talk to her about it once and said to her, I said, is there any reason, I said, that you don't ring ahead of like turning up? I said, you know, to make sure that I said, what happens if you turn up and we're not in? She was like, well, I'll take potluck. So I was like, but what if we're busy? And she went, well, that's the reason that I don't ring. She said, because if I was to ring you, you'd always tell me you're busy. She said, so if I don't tell you that I'm coming, she said, and I just turn up, you can't say, no, you're too busy to see me. So, you know, and you're like, oh, okay then. I'm sure she doesn't mean it quite like that. Hold on, I'm just trying to see what I'm doing here. And I can't see. There we go. Oh, right, that one. So, yeah, so apparently the reason she won't ring me is because that way she can just turn up and not be turned away, or we aren't going to turn around and say, we're really sorry, but we're a bit busy right now. Can we do it another time? I must admit, it was a bit like, now, do you actually find that funny? Or is that like, really? How cheeky? I mean, I'd never dream of just turning up at somebody's house unannounced. Because you don't know. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what plans they've got. They might have planned to do something for the whole week, and then all of a sudden, like, you just sort of turn up at their doorstep. And they're like, oh. But, admittedly, she is right that when someone turns up at your doorstep unannounced, you don't feel that you can turn them away. Or say, no, I'm sorry, you can't come in because we're in the middle of something. Well, I don't, because she's already here. So yeah. So then obviously, I said, well, Darren's not here. I said, he's gone out. So she turned around and said, well, that's all right. She said, I'm only popping in for a cup of tea. So I'm like, oh, okay then. So then she's come in for a cup of tea. Well, I think she must have been here for about, I don't know, an hour and a half? Hour and a half to 2 hours, roughly. So, of course, by the time I've actually settled back down to sort of get back on with what I'd intended to do for the day, and actually sort of sorted it all out and set it all up, by the time it actually got to the point that I could actually test it, to let alone record anything, just test it, it was like 7 o'clock last night. So I'm like, oh, I can't do it now. And then all of a sudden, like literally within about, I don't know, I've done a couple of like little test recordings just to see if the system actually recorded. And that's the point, I better check that it is recording. It looks like it is. And then all of a sudden, hubby rang back up and said, oh, I'm on my way home. I'll be about 15 minutes. So I was like, okay then. So that's not going to work then. So I was like, okay, well, I'll record tomorrow then, be in today. Then when hubby gets home, so I turned around and said to him, you are going off out racing tomorrow, aren't you? And he went, well, I wasn't going to. And he said, oh. And I was like, oh. I said, can you go out? So he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So he said, well, why? I said, well, because I've got recording that I wanted to do. He was like, but I thought you did that today. And I went, it didn't go according to plan. I said, because your mum turned up. Do you know what? That's all I had to say to him. Your mum turned up. And that sort of answered all of his questions for him. So I think he was a bit like, oh, okay, got ya. So with that, he's done nothing more this morning than to go off out for me. Which is really lovely of him to have gone off out. Because it's like he didn't actually plan on going out. Although I've sort of sent him out. As you do. But it's just like, oh, you'd think that these videos would just be so easy to do. And they're just so not. They're just so, yeah, so not. And with the setup situation, I mean, I did actually try this in the living room earlier on this morning to actually get this all set up and recorded. And I tried to do it from my laptop, from the sofa, so that at least I was comfortable. But it wouldn't record. Well, it recorded, but it was so like, so there was me sitting there stitching, and then my face was talking to you, but my lip, you know, what my lips were doing, and the ratio of the actual audio, it was two different things, totally two different things. So I was just like, this isn't working, is it? Not at all. So I was left with nothing more to do other than to yeah, call it a day and not bother. And then when Lauren come home and I was like, it doesn't work, I was like, this is a stupid idea. I said, you and your idea of me. And she was like, well, no, she said, but your laptop's not really man enough. Not for sort of the system that you've got running, like with the 2 cameras. And so I was like, oh, well. So she was like, it'll be fine, Mum. She said, you just need to do it from your computer. She said, because you've got a really good computer. And I was like, well, I might have a really good computer. I said, but my computer's not in my living room, is it? And she was like, well, that's all right. You can just do your stitching in your study. But then when I've actually come in here to try and do my stitching in my study, it's actually, I feel like I've shoehorned myself into a tiny little space, hoping that it's actually going to pan out. So yeah, it's been interesting. Very interesting. Do you know what? I think I'm actually just making this up now because this doesn't even look right as to where I am. 1, 2. Alright, we'll just stick that in there because I don't know where we are on this one. This is not going very well with the stitching, I have to be honest. I made a boo-boo on this square at some point and now I can't find where I've gone wrong, and I'm sorry, but there's no way that I'm pulling it all out. So this square will just have to look the way it looks. But with these heaven and earth, you're pretty hard pushed to tell when you've gone wrong anyway, so I won't worry too much right now. So yeah, what else to tell you? There's not really that much else to tell you, to be honest. Like I said, the whole not having anything to talk about is problematic because I've not been anywhere. I've barely left the house, which has been lovely. I do like the whole not going out. I could quite easily become a bit of a social misfit. In fact, more than easily, because if I had my way, I wouldn't go out. I don't have to deal with people, apart from obviously my mother-in-law, because whether I go out or not, she always comes here. And she does. She's always, you know, she always just pops in. Even when I'm working from home, she'll just turn up. No warning. No like, are you working from home today? She'll just turn up in the hope that someone's here. Love her. Think she needs to get a pastime. As you can see, I'm a floss licker. I do like a bit of licking of floss because it's just so much easier to thread my needle. Right, let's see if I can work out where all these stitches that are wrong need to go. So bear with, people, just so that I can sort of make this square look the way it's supposed to. Not that you can see it. I don't know how clear it is for you, but it's very white and pale because we're actually working on the moon, or the moon area. Down and across one. That one. Down and across one. Let's go in that one. Yeah, as you can see, I'm so making this up. Totally making it up. No idea where these stitches are actually supposed to go because they're all in the wrong holes. Apart from these ones look to be right. Where else are we going? Filled all those in. Don't know what that one's that one. Okay, so we'll plonk him there. So, yeah, it's been a strange few weeks, I have to say. There's not really anything. I mean, I've still got, how many weeks? I've still got 2 weeks of recovery before I have to go back to work. So I've got a little ways to go. I'm rather hoping that over the next 2 weeks I can actually get out and do some bits and pieces, because obviously up until now, although I've been off work and I've been at home, I've not been well enough to sort of go out and do anything. So now obviously I am starting to feel a bit more like myself. I would like to try and make good use of my time, or just sit and stitch. One out of the two. I'm fine with either or either. Right, let me see if we can work out what we're doing here. So that's there, that's there. I think. Do you know what? These are all over the place. All the other areas that I've stitched on this have not had bits everywhere. It's been sort of really what I call easy stitching, so to speak. And the one time that I decide that I'm doing a Stitch With Me video and I get to a point where it's all over the place, which is not what I want, because it takes some thought process to say the least. So I'm just making this up as I go along now of what I think it looks like. It's not, because it's all in the wrong places, but there we go. Right, that's 9. Where are we? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I think that's right. Yeah, no, I think I've definitely picked the wrong bit of the chart to do this Stitch With Me video. Totally the wrong place. But there you go. These things happen. I am actually due to switch this one out, so I mean I might, if this is a really short video, which I think is going to be, because I'm really not feeling the love for this now, given that I've completely balls this square up. I might make this a very short Stitch With Me, and then maybe do a different Stitch With Me with, like, I don't know, maybe Andromeda. Maybe she needs to come out to play, but then my Evening in the Park needs to come back out to play as well. I'm becoming very torn between my projects as to what I want to stitch next, because I'm having so much time at stitching. It's like I want to make big dents in things, and obviously to make big dents in things, it's like, oh, you know, which one do I do first? I mean, this one's got quite a lot on it now in comparison to other ones. I don't know what to put. Do you know what? I'm just going to put white in those other squares, I think, because I don't actually know what's supposed to be in them, because I've completely messed it up. I'd like to see, you know, what is wrong and what isn't. It's the one thing I do love about these designs. Oh, excuse me, where did that come from? Oh, now I've got hiccups. It's just destined not to happen today, isn't it? I'm just destined not to actually get this video up at all, or to finish it. I mean, I'll probably watch this back and be like, oh, that's not good, Teresa. Not good at all. Do you know what? I'm just going to use white. I'm just going to fill this in with white, because I don't know what's supposed to be where. I mean, by the time I got up, tried to do this recording once in the living room, then moved the whole kit and caboodle into here, then went down and saw my mum to make sure that she was okay because I hadn't seen her this morning, then popped into the greenhouse to make sure everything that needed watering is watered, then come back in here and then redo all the software on my computer rather than my laptop because that was another problem. And it's now, what time is it? It's nearly 4 o'clock. It's nearly 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I got up to do this video. I mean, I got up and took a shower this morning at 5:45. Yep, 5:45. And it took me till now with various yes, no's. Oh, no, can't, no, that's horrible. No, that doesn't work. Oh, better pop in and see my mum. Then Lauren's coming and going. Then my brother popped round. Yeah. It's another one of those days where things that I was planning to do are just not happening. So therefore, I think sometimes you just have to accept that it's not happening and call it a day. And I think that's what I'm going to have to do. And just put a line under the fact that I didn't get everything done today that I wanted to get done. God, this square is an absolute mess, people. But as my mum would say, a blind man would like to see it. What is that there? Is that a square? Yeah. Sounds like my neighbours are outside playing. It was supposed to have been overcast and cloudy today. That was what the weather forecast said. Overcast and cloudy. I haven't seen an ounce of cloud. In fact, it's been the complete opposite. It's just been sunny. Which made it another reason that I couldn't do the video in the living room anyway. Because you can't see anything when it's sunny. Because it's too bright. I know. I'm not complaining about brightness now. I'm not, I haven't gone on a complete moan about weather. But when they say it's going to be overcast, you sort of allocate your day as to according to the weather, don't you? If I'd have known it was going to be sunny outside, I might have actually... Oh no, I wouldn't have done anything really. But at least I could have walked around in the garden and succumbed that I would wait until a day where it wasn't so nice outside to be in here doing a video or trying to do a video. Just to get it right, trying to do a video, because this isn't actually doing a video at all. Right, should we move on to the next bit and see if I can get them all in the right spaces this time, because the first time was just appallingly bad on my part. So let's see how we do with this one. What else to tell you? It's not really that much to say, to be honest. Obviously I haven't managed to get any housework done because I'm not allowed to do any housework. Which is not a bad thing. Although, I say it's not a bad thing, you would think that my husband would pick up the slack. Oh no. One thing my husband does not do is housework. Of any type. His idea of doing housework is, well, I loaded the dishwasher. That's housework. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really housework, dear. And curse my floors, when you sort of sit. I think what doesn't help is because I'm here, because I'm sort of stuck here, sat here looking at it, it just makes it worse because I'm sitting there looking at it. I suppose because he goes off out to work, he doesn't even see the fluff. But for me, I'm like, oh, it's driving me nuts. And I'm like, will you do something? Will you do something about the fluff? And he's like, well, it's just only a bit of fluff, Tel. And I'm like, no, it's more than just a bit of fluff. But it's driving me bonkers because I'm having to sit here and try to ignore it when, well, you know what it's like. If you can see fluff and dust floating around on the floor, you can't ignore that. Well, I can't ignore it, no matter how much I try. And especially the fact that everything in my house is white, including my floors. So everything, you can see everything. So yeah. Hubby is definitely not very good household chores or household anything, actually. Anything to do with housework, and yeah, no, it's not his bag at all. So in some respects I can't wait to be back on my feet, just so that I can get my housework done, or at least do a little bit of it. That would be nice. Have a nice clean sparkly house. There's nothing better than sort of, that's what I like about sort of when you've finished all your housework and everything is fresh smelling and fresh looking, and you can actually sit down and actually relax. I think that's the biggest problem for me, is if there's too much, if I can see stuff that's bugging me, I can't relax until I sort it out. So I'm one of those people that I might sit there for 5 minutes, but I'll look around, and if it's not to my liking, then I'll have no choice but to get back up and go and do it, because I can't sit there and look at it and try to relax. I definitely wouldn't be very good at one of these people that's sort of like, oh, you know, that's a job that can wait till tomorrow. No, because it will just sit there and drive me crazy. She says. Right, well, I think I'm going to call it a day on this video and upload it and see what it actually looks like. So if you see it, you know that I didn't think it was too bad, although I've probably rambled about absolute nonsense because, or just because. So yeah, I think I'm going to go and see whether this has worked, because although I've recorded it now, even though it's short and sweet, I've still got editing, or a form of editing to do if it's going to be okay to upload, as well as obviously the upload time is one of the world's worst. Well, there you go, people. Look at the state of that, would you? And obviously, yes, I've got all these hanging threads because I don't normally finish my stuff on the front, but because obviously I don't want to just keep flipping my work because I've got another camera here, I've left these towels, and that's annoying as well. But I will sort those out once I've covered another row of stitching. So there we go. There we go, people. We are done with the Stitch With Me video, and we will see whether it works. It might not, but if it does, then it's a bonus. And if it does work, then there might be a Stitch With Me live notification that comes out to say, you know, this is the day, this is the time, hope you can join me. So yeah, fingers crossed, because I think that's what I need. I think I need something more interactive so that I can actually talk to people whilst I'm stitching, rather than me just trying to sit here thinking of things to tell you that, you know, that I ran out of things to tell you almost in the first 5 minutes of this video. So until next time, people, bye bye for now.